Bradley Holly does not get going. Everybody has to try and take avoiding maneuvers, someone even taking to the grass. And the front row just had a horrible start as Raymond Day also gets swamped. Boucher is going to go from fourth to first by the first turn.
That is now Ozzie Milwain trying to take a little bit of a look. Oh, what a great move by Michael Broomhead. Caught Andrew Hardman napping, and now they're going to be side by side going into the Curva Grande. Is Fonseca and McKenzie still going at it down into Rint. Fonseca holding it out for now. A little bit of a better run, though, for McKenzie.
Oh, and a bump. He gets into the back of him. Fonseca spins off. And McKenzie, is he going to get third? Because here comes Tavitas, and Tavitas takes third away from both of them.
Indeed, and now Almanar looking for a little bit of a fight back. He's going to poke his nose to the inside. That's a very tricky area to try to get that move done. Move's going to favor back, but Almanar's going to hold it around the outside. He has got it done and dusted. A great move for Jonathan Almanar.
Allowing him to retain that sixth position for now, but once again, a better exit, and this time the over-under worked a treat for Corey Lotfula. He's going to get the inside, and this drag race up to 130R should go in his favor, depending on how brave Doug Bacchignone is. Let's see, and not brave enough is the answer.
You heard that exasperation out of me, Joe. A bad push there, catches it, taps from behind, completely sideways, massive opposite lock, and he keeps it pointed the right way. Great job, Byron McDonald.
This is it. Big draft. Almost middle of the road there for Topi Kortanimi. Up the inside goes Togo Hisada. He has to get on the brakes, though. They're side by side through 130R. This is the battle for the win on the final lap here. Kortanimi stays defensive. Coming into the Casio triangle. Squeezing him.
I think Pi cannot do much here except break his late as he dares, which he tries and keeps an overlap into the left-hander, around the right-hander. He's got the outside. That tends to see better momentum, and it does this time. But now he's on the long way around from multiple corners and just gets fed out to the outside of the track. It is not there for Karthik Pai, and he finally gives up the ghost. Defensive move out of Mark Kalin denies him for now, but he goes a little wide at the apex.
Does indeed. There you see the move from Jacques Boucher. He's going to try to take it out into that little kink now, but he's going to have to go the long way around Cascades. It's not going to work out, but that's going to open up the door to Bradley Holly. There he goes on through up into the podium position.
Travis Brown opened up 2022 by snagging a win, but newcomer Tom Layton kept him honest with only a second between them at the line. Those two were the clear runaways back in Japan, but will we see others find their footing here in Germany? We'll find out soon as we get ready to watch round 2 of the Porsche Owners Club Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is DJ Clark. Behind the scenes is our director, Zach Johnson, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. The recent addition of the Porsche Experience Center to iRacing's virtual version of Hockenheim demonstrates how these cars should feel pretty at home here on native soil. Let's head to our track guide to see what the full GP course will hold for them, though. Welcome to Hockenheim. Located just an hour away from the border of France, this is a German track whose nature has changed drastically over its history. Once an eye-watering blast through long straights in the forest, it has since been truncated to its current format. With 6 different layouts ranging between 2.5 and 4.5 kilometers containing 13 to 16 turns, depending on which you choose, it's got something for just about every level of racing. This means it would fit everything from club cars up to Formula One. And that's perhaps what it's most well known for. One of the regular hosts for the German Grand Prix, it has been the scene of multiple dramatic moments, some triumphant, some tragic. Its redesign in the early 2000s gave it a few well-placed overtaking spots. The Parabolica entrance can create a good sneak attack, but even if you don't get it done there, the huge run towards the tight and slow Spitz curve is the place most well known for overtakes. If neither of those work, on rare occasions, Mercedes Corner can see drivers manage to pass one another. While the straights certainly aren't as long as the old version, it still requires a good deal of top speed to be competitive. But driver beware. Throttle control can often make or break your lap on the latter half of the circuit. All in all, German race fans can be assured to find great action no matter your tastes in racing at this fantastic venue. Well, DJ, as I said, home soil for Porsche, but how are they going to handle out there?
Well, it's going to be a fantastic circuit to drive, Joe, with plenty of overtaking opportunities and plenty of areas to catch the drivers off guard. The best places to really get a pass done, well, that's going down into the Spitzkehre and then down into the Mercedes-Benz Arena section. Those 2 areas in particular, particularly effective to get a pass move. But the tricky areas, well, the Mobile 1 curve always seems to catch drivers out, and the North curve as well, which is very similar to Copse at Silverstone. The big setup, though, if you can get a good run through the North curve and into the Einfahrt Parabolica, then you can get a good run and a good draft down into the Spitzkehre, but you've got to keep an eye behind you because that draft is very, very strong going through there.
No doubt about that. I anticipate that being the thing that gives us the most action today. Before we get to that action, though, let's talk about our sponsors, which of course includes Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. And Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. As well as Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Now, in case we have viewers that are just starting to tune into this series, we've been covering the Porsche Club for a while, Porsche Owners Club, sorry. But DJ, what does today's race entail for them?
Well, what it's going to entail, Joe, is a 30-minute race, and it will be the second of 25 races. That's right. We are going the whole year in the Porsche Owners Club. As the change from last year, it's a single-make series driving the Porsche 911 GT3R, and open setups are on the docket. Now, the important thing with that open setup, though, is this is a very, very friendly club, and so a lot of drivers very, very eager to be able to share their setups with one another.
Absolutely. Definitely pride themselves in trying to welcome and train new drivers and get them up to speed. As speaking of up to speed, right now we're watching the qualifying session, and Travis Brown has the provisional pole. He's just popped back out on track recently. That's probably to try and cover off Tom Layton, his rival from the first round, because Tom is currently 0.02 of a second behind him and breathing down his neck. And they've still got 9 minutes left on the clock, so there's plenty of chances for that 97 to overtake them. From there on down, DJ, it's basically a battle for best of the rest, because Sipek has a lot of drivers close to him, but he's 0.7 behind the front row.
Yeah, it really is, Joe. And, you know, this is one of those courses where there aren't a whole lot of curves, so that gap is even more impressive to see from Brown and Layton. But a very, very close battle, it has to be said, going back, you know, really third place and 16th is separated by just over a second. So this is going to be a wild midfield fight, even if the front runners look like it's just a twofold race.
Yeah, it seems like the mid-pack should give us a lot of action like we saw last time out. And Tom trying to find himself a little bit of open space here, just letting Corey Lotfula go on by. As Corey was one of those that was quite successful last season. Tom Layton now looks like he's happy with that as he starts to take off behind Corey, who sits in 5th right now, has about 300ths to make up to go by BJ Fulton and get onto the 2nd row. As we said, it's so tight in the mid-pack with many drivers less than a 10th apart from one another. So they're all pushing hard to try and find that little bit more around a lap. And that is Giorgio Adams that he is currently behind, who goes a little bit off. So that lap probably not going to count for him. Layton just starts on his flyer as well.
Indeed, and Joe, we talked a little bit about the off tracks around here. Very, very easy to pick up. This is a modern Formula One circuit, so plenty of paved runoff that's just sort of inviting the drivers to take it a little bit too far wide. And I certainly think we may see some of these drivers getting into some track limits issues by the end of this race as we watch Layton getting a perfect effect of the slipstream down the long parabolica.
Indeed, yeah, it's 17 incidents before they get a drive-through penalty, and then every 5 after that, they'll get another drive-through, which is very little between penalties, and 34 will actually completely disqualify them. Interesting note as well about Travis Brown as we continue to watch Layton. Let's stick with this until the end of the lap, see if he can improve. Travis Brown's only set a single lap. You talk about the difficulties of the off tracks here. They also delete your lap time if you go over the boundaries. So the 300 has been fast, but inconsistent.
Yeah, exactly, and that is something that can come back to bite, but we got to keep an eye on Tom Layton here. He wasn't particularly fast through the first sector, but he just went purple through sector 2, so this may be the lap he was looking for. Just a couple of more curves for him to negotiate here, and we'll be able to see if he's able to pip Travis Brown to the pole.
Yeah, he doesn't have to be much faster. Remember, only 0.02 as he crosses the line. And it's going to be a 37.284. That's all he needs. Brown now has to respond by about half a tenth to take that pole back in these final 5 minutes.
Well, Brown is responding. He went he went green in the first sector, so we'll have to see how he does. I think this is a race that is going to be on for pole position in these closing moments of qualifying.
He's got to keep it within the track boundaries, though. He's got a little bit of clear air right now, but he's got Jeffrey Schulem that he's approaching. Hopefully that doesn't affect him. Pretty healthy field here today as well. 26 cars are out here, although I do not see Federico Del Toro or Brian Cooner in the session right now, so might only get 24. Even still, should give us plenty of good action out on the track. And as we watch flying down into Mercedes, this is still Layton that we've got our eyes on in that 97, our pole sitter. Looks like he's actually up on this lap too. Could he maybe even make the gap even bigger?
Well, I'm sure he would absolutely love to be able to do that, crossing over the timing line just about the same. Oh, he's got a spinner in front of him. That's going to throw him offline, and I think that is going to be his lap done and dusted.
Let's see if he comes back in for fresh tires and maybe a little bit of damage repaired. Travis Brown just took off as well as he got held up big time coming through the stadium section. So he parked it, not able to start a competitive lap there. And he's not out yet. He's got to start going soon because he want those tires to get up to temperature here. And first lap probably not going to be the best one for it. Now he's starting to roll as we are watching a few of our other drivers come down into the parabolica. This is Duncan, Sipek, and Freckleton.
Indeed it is. Jerry Freckleton, obviously the AM winner from last year, hoping to have a good season here in these as they work their way around. Jerry in that machine, just continuing to drive it around here. Really all about consistency around this track. It may seem like it's a track that's sort of broken up a little bit by these sort of infield arena sections, but there is a great rhythm that you can find if you just kind of keep your nose down to it, Joe.
Yeah, Freckleton doesn't seem to be adapting as well here today in round 2 because GT3 car is very different from the GT4s he ran in the Caymans last season where he kind of ran away with things. and sits in at 21st. The Californian coming around to start another one. Although he is up on this lap, he might improve here. Let's stick with this. See what he's got as he comes to the line. And that one got deleted. Unfortunately, he had an off track somewhere.
Yeah, and he's probably going to get another one there, and certainly not going to have a fast lap as he catches a little bit too much of the curve coming out of the north curve, and that is going to throw him off. So Jerry Freckleton not having the best time out here today.
Yeah, Sipek, the one that we saw have that little wiggle. Unfortunately, Chad Duncan in front of him also bails. Once again, down through the Parabolica, Freckleton carrying on. Sipek just going to stay out of the way of him. And looks like he's about 5/10 slow right now. So not looking good at this stage. Still time to make up for it, though, if he wasn't particularly fast on his best lap through the final section, which starts about now.
Indeed. So Jerry just going to try to be pushing here to the best of his abilities. You don't want to take too much speed into this corner. Slow it down enough. It's a bit of a weird exit apex as the corner widens up in front of you, and then pretty much flat out there exiting that section. Oh, that's going to be too far wide, though.
Unfortunate for Jerry. Trying to see if we got anybody else that's looking like they are on a good one right now. Tom Layton's actually up by 0.2 himself, our pole sitter. There you see him once again coming out of the Mercedes section. Let's see if he can keep this up. Still about 1/10 up. It's hovering. If he can pull this even farther away from Travis Brown, that'll be very good for him, because Travis, as we said, seems to be having a hard time keeping it within the track limits here in this qualifying session. Down and around the south curve. He's still 0.2 up, showing very well on my timing screen. Is it within the boundaries? He crosses the start-finish line. It is a 37.174. He is now 0.157 away from Travis Brown.
All right, that is going to be music to Tom Layton's ears. Let's see if Travis has any response at all. He was quick through the first sector by about 100th of a second, but lost 0.3 in sector 2. He will be able to get one more lap here, one more crack at the apple if he's able to do it, and I don't think this is going to be the fastest lap for him.
It is not. 37.4 that time across for Travis Brown. Let's stick with the 300. Let's see if he's got speed and consistency underneath him. He does have Jacob Abrams and Doug Baccignone in front of him. He's got to hope that those two are fast enough that he doesn't catch them before the lap is over, because I think they are both also on flyers.
Exactly, and he'll want them ahead of them right now to get a little bit of a tow, but then once they get into the twisty bits, he does not want those cars in front of him, does not want to have to check up the car at all.
Looking for the braking, down into the Spitzkara. I'm showing him just about even with his best lap right now. Ooh, great exit though. Gained a little bit of time. This could still be on. As you said, he's getting something of a tow from those ahead. Question is that enough, and will it be in the right places? That's a spin in front of him. That'll be a bit of a compromise.
Looks like he was able to avoid that relatively easily. He was about 0.07 of a second up in sector 1. He's going to cross over the line here for sector 2. Let's see how that fared. He's about 0.3 off, again 0.2 off of his rival Tom Layton.
Oh, he's going to need more than this. It's not looking good now. The checkered flag is out. No more chances for our qualifiers. Travis Brown out of the Sachs curve and now into the south curve. Not going to get held up by Jacob Abrams, thankfully. Is this enough? It's not looking good on my timing screen. It is not. He pulls over. He is done. So Tom Layton has your pole unless we get a miracle from some other drivers. Jacob Abrams, though, up to third. He gets himself into the top 5 in the last stages. He was way down the order, I believe, before this.
Yeah, he really was. So an absolutely amazing run there as he was able to get that car up into position.
Let's see who else is trying to finish laps here. This is BJ Fulton that we see. Michael Roban in the 929 is coming around. And don't think he's going to improve. No, he is not. He just went off track himself. So that's day over for him. BJ Fulton in the orange 277. And Michael Bolton behind him. The last two that we're going to be able to see finish laps here in this qualifying session. Fulton currently sitting in 5th. Only needs to make 17 thousandths of a second up to overtake Sipek and get onto row 2. But it looks like qualifying's over. He's not going to be able to finish the lap. All right. Let's go through our starting order here today. Tom Layton with the pole position. Travis Brown will be in 2nd place as Jacob Abrams will be P3. It's Matthew Sipek starting from 4th as BJ Fulton is 5th. And Michael W. Johnson, home ground for him as well as he grew up in Germany. He'll be starting from 6th position. Corey Lotvilla, P7. Sam Mayorga in 8th. And it's Michael Ost in 9th and Jad Duncan rounding out your top 10.
In 11th, it's going to be Mark Rondeau, followed by Matt Hollander with Andrew Beckner and Doug Boccignoni behind them. Michael Bolton will line up in 15th, followed by AJ Letary with Jeffrey Shulam 17th and John Momeyer 18th. Aaron Edwards will be to the inside of row 10, and Michael Robon will round out your top 20.
And 21st, it is Jerry Freckleton with Adam Fulton starting 22nd. Dong Nguyen. And 23rd is Giorgio Adams starts 24th. We do not have Federico Del Toro and Brian Cooner in the session. So we're going to see 24 cars take to the grid today. And the rolling start going to be on its way soon as they're lining up behind the Porsche pace car. It is pretty good conditions as well, DJ. 80 Fahrenheit, 27 Celsius on the track.
Indeed, that wind is going to be a little bit of an issue. Look for some buffeting, specifically coming out of the south curve. That's going to be a little bit of a crosswind, a little bit of a tailwind as they make that curve, so it can throw the cars off a little bit if they're not careful. But 55% humidity, just about perfect conditions, as you said, Joe. 80 degrees temperature on track. That means that these tires will come up to temp very, very quickly.
Got to wonder, what's it going to be like this time between Layton and Brown? They've certainly looked like potentially becoming our two main protagonists, DJ. And this week, Layton has got the legs on him, it seems.
He does indeed, but qualifying pace can sometimes be a little bit different from outright race pace, and especially at a track like this where consistency is key. Don't count anything out until we see that checkered flag fly.
That's very true. It ain't over till it's over. And as we come into the stadium section, they wait patiently to get going. Can Tom Layton come in as a rookie and take a victory here in only his 2nd time of trying, or is Travis Brown going to deny him this time around? Just 2 more corners. Pace car going to peel off in between. No pit stops here. With this 30-minute sprint race, it is all down to your pace on the track. There goes the pace car. Layton holds, waiting, and now he is on it. Green flag is out. Very good jump over his rivals, but look in the middle back there. The purple car of Michael Johnson finds himself getting up to 3rd before he even gets to the first corner. Almost 3 wide behind them. Sipek, Fulton, and Jacob Abrams. They managed to get out of that one through the north curve.
They do indeed, but they're thinking about going 3 wide there in the back as BJ Fulton's going to be able to pull that car ahead. Jacob Abrams doing a good job to be able to keep everything nice and orderly. But yeah, Joe, that was an absolutely mega start from Michael W. Johnson as we've got a car off. That's Jad Duncan.
Ooh, and definitely hit the wall pretty hard there, so I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get this rolling. Looks like he's going to try to. Just spun the tires off of the Parabolica entry. And unfortunately, that was it. Side by side between Jacob Abrams and Corey Lotvilla. Lotvilla having to take to the paved runoff and then back to the track.
Indeed, the rest of our leaders looking like they're relatively single file here. Doug Boccignoni getting a little close with Mark Rondeau in the back, almost going side by side into the Mercedes-Benz Arena. But up front, Tom Layton starting to pull away to the tune of about 1.1 seconds.
And you talked about the difference between racing and qualifying. Johnson's always told us that, both on air and behind the scenes. He just isn't a good qualifier, and he admits it. And if he's a better racer, well, this 3rd place, he's still looking for that first win. Well, as we got an off back here, Is this Roban? Yes, it is. The 929 finding his way back to the course eventually.
Yeah, and he's got some pretty significant wing damage there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he opts to come down pit lane, maybe get a quick, fast repair to pop that back into place, as that will cost him a lot of speed down the very, very long Parabolica.
Absolutely. The only thing against Johnson, I think, this race, though, is he also told me before we went live that he thinks Brown and Layton are just in another world in terms of pace, and starting to look like that as they're already gapping him. Good battle back here between Abrams and Vlatvala. Once again, nearly making contact. Watch out for Matt Hollander. He is right behind and could make this a three-way fight.
He's certainly thinking about it. He's got that car tucked up behind Corey Lotvala. Going to start to poke his nose to the inside right now. Thinking about making that move, but he's going to slot back into line, it looks like.
Just can't quite get the overlap. Almost makes contact nose to tail. It's so slow down through that hairpin and so tight through there. Thankfully, nobody gets spun out.
Yeah, very lucky indeed that nobody does, but that battle continuing on. Corey Lotvala applying a lot of pressure to Jacob Abrams.
He wants that spot, and he's got to watch out for Hollander trying to pick up the pieces if a pass starts to go wrong. Up to Mobile 1. I don't think it's close enough here, but we have seen passes into there before. It's not unheard of. Meanwhile, Aaron Edwards is trying to get the car going out of Mercedes. He got some help. Adam Fulton, unfortunately, making a send that did not go well.
Well, and that's not entirely surprising. As I said, that's one of the overtaking opportunities, and it's a very, very tricky corner to get the car all loaded up for. And so he loses it there a little bit, but we continue to watch this battle. Jacob Abrams holding off Corey Lotvala to the best of his abilities, but I've got to be very careful. As Matthew Sipek sets the fastest lap of the race. A bit surprising there.
Yeah, not what I expected at all. He's chasing Michael Johnson, trying to get that spot back after the start, breaking down into the Parabolica entry there. That was Lotvala and Hollander once again that were looking like they might have a fight. And whoa, here we go. Matt's got the slipstream. Does he dare try and do it this time? Doesn't have to worry about anybody behind like last time. He's got the slipstream. He's going to show his nose. He comes back to the racing line. A little bit of a defense from Lotvala. Whoa, way deep for the number 69 car. Almost loses the spot to Ost behind him.
Almost loses it indeed, and that dive just really set off a big cataclysm there as these drivers now try to get it going. Hollander thinking about it, starts to poke his nose to the inside again. Oh, he's going to go for a late move down into Mercedes. Oh, I almost think they make contact. Who's that around?
That's Ost. I think a slight bit of contact between himself and, let's see, who was that? That was Marc Rondeau into that corner. If we could catch the replay on that one. Oh, he's going to be under attack here. Rondeau with Shulam coming up the inside into Mobile 1. There's the spot. No, not quite. Coming back around the outside. He doesn't want to lose another one. Marc Rondeau fights back. He'll retain at least 15th place.
And that requires a whole bunch of guts to be able to hold that corner out there, Joe. Very hard to take offline, so kudos there to the driver of the 171.
Layton setting the fastest lap of the race, and he has gapped Travis Brown pretty well now. It's 1.1 seconds. They've dropped Johnson to 2.5 seconds. Here's the incident. It'll be, oh, we might be a little far back here. Here we go. This is where it all unfolds. Oh, it touches the grass. Just clips him, and they all spin off.
Yeah, and that's just trying to carry a little bit too much speed into the corner, letting the car run a little bit too far wide, trying to take too much of the track, and just nowhere to go.
Unintentional, but a mistake nonetheless. Also, a bit of a bummer for those who are fans of the 19. He unfortunately had to come into pit lane to take repairs after his last off, so he is now a lap down because of that. He is back out and rolling. Michael Johnson is going to have to play defense, it looks like. Sipek's finally caught him, and he's brought BJ Fulton with him.
Yeah, so we've got a little bit of a battle shaping up here for that last place on the podium. Michael W. Johnson trying to hold on to that stellar jump he made. Remember, Sipek set the fastest lap of the race a couple of laps ago, so he's certainly got some speed in him.
Yeah, I suspect that good start for Johnson will only hold so much water, and then he's really got to have to earn his money here. Oh, do we have an incident from Mayorga? Yes, we did.
Yeah, we did indeed, Joe. He just lost it of his own accord coming down through the Sachs curve. A little bit of contact with Corey Lotvala as a result of the spin.
Looks like, actually, I think it was Jacob Abrams. So he gets sent back. Matt Hollander now directly behind him. Yeah, there you can see them coming up into the, oh, actually, that was those in front of them. There they are now. That's Abrams being chased by Hollander. He'll be lucky if he doesn't have too much damage, because he definitely made a couple of thunks into the car ahead, but looks okay from the camera angles we're getting.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any major damage to the car, and crucially, that front splitter looks okay, so that means his turn-in downforce on the entry into the corner is not going to be affected, and so he should be all right. Sachs curve, a pretty quick curve, but it looks like they made contact at such low enough speed that there wasn't any damage to the car.
Ooh, up in the background there, we saw a little bit of a look from Fulton on Sipek, and here's another one. Going to take it deep down in a Mercedes. He's given space at the apex, but the pinch does not give him the exit he needs.
No, it does not. So they're going to stay in the order that they are, but BJ looking like he's going to try to fight back. He may have a move going down to the Mobile 1 curve. This is going to take a lot of guts, but it looks like Sipek backs off and lets him have the position.
Not willing to risk the race this early on. We're only still in the first third of this event. This is great news for Johnson. Look at how much distance he's put between himself and that pair.
Yeah, indeed. He wants to see this battle just keep playing out again and again, because anytime they battle, he's able to stretch his legs and move ahead just a little bit more.
Right now at about 1.1 seconds, but he's fallen to 4.4 behind Leighton and Brown. So unless he gets a mistake or some sort of battle out of those two, it's not looking like he's going to be able to try and fight for the win here today, just based on raw pace. Out into the Parabolica once again. Let's check in back with Lotvala, Abrams, and Hollander here. This is for 6th position. As you're right, Abrams doesn't seem to be suffering from too much damage because he's already caught the 22, and now Hollander continues to hound him. We've got a trio just outside of the top 5.
Yeah, indeed we do. Hollander looking like he's dropping back just a little bit. Remember how aggressive he looked early? That is Lotvala holding off Abrams. A little bit contact between himself and Hollander.
Almost turned him. Thankfully, no such luck. And Jacob Abrams is able to keep going, but Hollander getting a scare, not expecting that slow of a run through the apex of the Spitzkara.
No, not at all. And sometimes you can get caught out by that in the same way that you do going down to the Mercedes-Benz Arena section that we're passing through right now. So Abrams has got to regather himself a little bit here to try to close down on Corey Lotvala if he can. Hollander, I said he looked like he was falling back. He's looking very aggressive.
Yep, a little bit of a mistake there from Hollander as well, as he fell back through Mobile 1. So this separates compared to what we witnessed a little bit before. Looking to see if we got any hard chargers, honestly, in the field. Freckleton's not doing too bad considering his difficulties qualifying, up for 4 spots from 21st to 17th right now. There you see him on screen in the green and white.
Yeah, indeed, and he's closing down a little bit on Michael Ost ahead of him. And remember, Ost is on a bit of a recovery drive. Now, this is interesting. That red and yellow car right ahead of Michael Ost, that's John Momeyer. That is Jerry Freckleton's title rival last year for the GT2 series.
Well, he's got a rival of his own with Ost going up the inside into the Parabolica entry. And he's got that one done. That'll move Ost up into 15th. Next one, about 1.5 seconds up the road. That's Mark Rondeau.
Yeah, it looks like Ost is pretty easily being able to slice his way through these drivers. So pretty good runs for him. Freckleton trying to hold on alongside.
A little bit of a look trying to get that one right back, but Momeyer too far back for that one, unfortunately. Freckleton, just giving watch, but he goes wide. Meanwhile, we hop up in front of them. This is Baccignone with Michael Bolton getting awful interested in that 10th place.
Getting very interested indeed. Michael Bolton trying to push his way forward here. We've seen a little bit more aggression on the exit of that Mercedes-Benz Arena section than I have seen in previous races here, Joe. So very, very interesting to be able to do.
Bacignoni getting very heavy pressure now from Bolton, who almost had a go coming into the Sachs curve. Not quite close enough. See if he can maybe do something out of the north curve as he tries to set him up. AJ Lethierry there behind them. Ooh, even Lethierry got interested for a moment, but then has to back off out of the south curve. Just had his momentum cut off there through that right-hander. Here we go. Let's see who's got the launch. Oh, no, something's happened to Leighton. Our leader is off, and he has to take a tow. Oh, Brown.
Goodness.
It was lap traffic. Brown got hit by Giorgio Adams as he was lapping him, and it ran into both of them.
Oh my goodness gracious, and that's going to grant the lead of the race over to Michael W. Johnson, Joe.
My goodness. We said it would take something exceptional. Johnson now has an open goal, but it's not over. Remember, he was being challenged by Fulton and Sipek. Here's the incident. Giorgio just missed his braking, and unfortunately, man, there's not much either of those two could have done in that whole situation.
No, there really wasn't. It was just incidental contact. Giorgio missing that braking zone, and then they're going for a ride. We're both of your leading drivers.
So Brown, he's going to try and carry on. Does he have a meatball flag? He does. Oh, no, both of them do. Tom Leighton does as well.
So that means that he is going to have to come down the pits, and Leighton there in the pits already. And there is your leader as we see Travis Brown coming down pit lane.
Wonder if the nerves are starting to get to the 13 now, because not only is this a good opportunity for the win, but this is, again, going to be essentially on home soil. Yes, he's an American citizen, but born and raised here on a military base. Michael W. Johnson is got to be grinning ear to ear. Meanwhile, Sipek and Fulton are actually kind of distracting one another, still deciding this second place, which is good news for the 13.
Indeed, that is just going to help Michael W. Johnson pull away, and pull away he has to the tune of about 2.3 seconds. So a nice little healthy gap here for that number 13 machine.
All right, a little bit of a look off the corner, but Sipek not giving anything up there. Could maybe make a dive here. He's close. This is going to be aggressive if he does. He decides not to. He's going to stay put. Whoa, instead he just waits for the mistake. Look at that, bounding over the curbs. Sipek going too early into the corner, and those tall, aggressive sausage curves have bitten him as Fulton now's got the nose inside coming into Mobile 1. He's got to get the job done, and he does.
Again, aggression going down into Mobile 1. We've been seeing it play out all race long. That is where you can get it done. A little bit of a fight back from Sipek there going down through the Sachs curve, but it looks like BJ Fulton has him covered.
This is the absolute best news that Michael Johnson could be getting right now. They're continuing to lose pace, 3.2 seconds now, but we still have half the race to go. There is a long ways before this thing is over.
Yeah, there really, really is. And as we've seen, just as tricky as this course is, it can throw anybody off. And not to mention, Joe, those off tracks, we talked about it before the race, is somebody pushing a little bit too hard and getting themselves caught out.
I know you've got some software that allows you to at least get a reading on that, so you have to keep us abreast if anybody's getting close out there. Trying to stay close to Fulton as we hop on board the orange 277. Sipek using the slipstream to narrow it down, but I don't think he's close enough. He's going to look anyways. He's thinking about it. He's going to send it in. Can he make the corner, though, is the question. The car goes a little wide over, under, and back underneath. Not able to come back. Fulton's going to have to go wheel to wheel as they come back to Mercedes.
Yes, he is. Wheel to wheel. Sipek's got it ahead and slices down on the nose. He's going to be able to put BJ Fulton behind him.
I did not expect that one to work out, if I'm honest. I thought he was just going to sail on through and give the spot right back, but kudos to the 11 to make that stick. Behind them, We're now watching Corey Lotfula and Jacob Abrams. Wonder if they're, we'll have to check the lap times. Are they gaining on them? Because it might not be Sipek and Fulton attacking Johnson. It might be basically a four-way fight for the last steps on the podium.
It may indeed. This is going to be very, very crazy to find out what happens. There you can see the gap back to Lotfula. They're taking chunks out of this.
Wow. Okay, then. So, yeah. Fulton and Sipek have got to start worrying about the big picture here as those two come across and are now within about 2.2 seconds of second and third place. And they don't seem to be fighting as hard, that's for sure.
No, they certainly don't, but they continue on here. I've got to think that they can recognize some of the blood in the water, and they just want to try to push themselves ahead and try to get into this podium spot.
They're trying so hard not to curse Michael Johnson. I know he always rags on us whenever we give him the commentator's curse. But, man, that purple car is looking good right now. Behind him, off the corner once again. The two pairs staying mighty close. In fact, it's very close between Abrams and Lotfula this time.
It is indeed down to under 0.2 of a second, and it looks like Abrams is going to try to pull a little bit of a move to the inside, going down into Mercedes. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get it done or not. He is not. He's got to stay behind.
Nope, couldn't quite pull it off. Bad news for fans of Doug Boccignone. That bright green 59 has run into the incident limit. He's going to have to come in to serve a penalty for track limits, unfortunately. Behind him, Rondeau almost under attack from Freckleton once again. Jerry now up to 13th from 21st. What a run this has been.
Yeah, this is a very, very good run from Jerry Freckleton. He looked a little bit off in that first race of the season, Joe, but he is reminding us why he's the leader, and that's Boccignone again off.
Distracting Freckleton a little bit, giving Travis Brown a chance to maybe get one of his spots back. So even if Freckleton loses this one, he's back where he was anyways. So coming through the south curve, just glancing those sausage curbs. And that actually slowed up Travis Brown a little bit. He falls away from Freckleton.
Yeah, indeed he does. So just falling back a little bit more. Freckleton's going to have to regather himself, but he's also got to watch out from behind. That's Travis Brown really making that move. I'm surprised he didn't go for the dive into the Einfahrt Parabolica.
Yeah, you got to think with a fresh car underneath him, because I'm pretty sure that he took that spare car. He's got to be a little bit faster based on the pace that we've seen compared to the rest of the field. And he's got the slipstream, but he's just not going anywhere here.
No, he's not. I'm not sure why, Joe. I wouldn't think there's any damage left to that car as he popped down pit lane, got it all repaired. So maybe he's just a little bit frustrated. Whoa!
There's a little mistake. That could open the door. And in fact, he's going to try and get his foot in. Travis Brown has gotten side by side. Oh, over the grass, though. He got a little anxious, having to go wheel to wheel through that swift left-hander. So Freckleton lives to fight another day.
Does indeed. Jerry putting up a very stout defense here, although I think Travis has had enough as they come out of the Mercedes-Benz Arena section. He may have a little bit of a move, and indeed he's going to take a look to the inside, going through Mobil 1. Almost contact between the two.
He's very lucky he did not turn him there. So Freckleton retains the spot once again. Credit to Jerry, man. He is he's not giving this one up. He's making sure that Travis has got to work for this.
Yeah, he certainly is. A very, very good drive here for Jerry Freckleton, really putting up a stout defense. And as I said, this is a little bit more of what we would have expected from him.
So back through the north curve once again. This is one of our best battles on the track, by the way. Fulton and Sipek have spread apart. Lotfula and Abrams have as well. Once again, yeah, I'm with you that why is he not giving it a go into it, unless maybe Jerry is just very good on the brakes?
Maybe, but this is the best run we've seen from Travis. I've got to think he's going to go down to the inside, and indeed, there he's going to use that draft. Obviously, the way the Parabolica is, he's going to lose a little bit out because of the right-hander, but now the right-hander, but now it'll switch back into that right-handed curve. There, he's got it done.
Hopefully. Oh, wheel spin. Yep, now he's got it done. Freckleton, unfortunately, giving it to him, getting a little greedy on the gas. Let's check back in with Michael Johnson, though, because Sipek has started to chop away at that lead. Last lap was half a second faster from the 11. I wonder if he and Fulton kind of got the memo and have stopped fighting and are starting to try and run down and fight for the victory instead of just P2.
I think they might be, because it looks like he is trying to close into the best he can on Michael W. Johnson. Let's see what it was on that last lap. A little bit better, only 0.6 of a second loss. Not nearly as bad there as some of the other laps, but still, those are not the kind of numbers that Michael W. Johnson wants to see.
No, and Sipek is still lightning quick. In fact, he picked up the pace something fierce that time by. He was about half a second faster than his previous lap. It's down to 1.5. We still got 8 minutes left to go. So there are lots of laps for Sipek to get this done. He does have to pass him, but man, Johnson's going to have to put up a stout defense to keep them back.
He is indeed, but the good news for him is that we are down under 10 minutes to go, so he's just got to try to keep that car ahead for a little bit longer. The gap's still holding at about 1.7 seconds.
Got another driver with a black flag. Mayorga now, unfortunately, in the 9 car, is going to have to serve that one. Another one that racked up too many incident points here today, down into the Spitzkara for him. He started 8th. He's already on a downward trajectory. He's sitting in 14th as we come back to Matthew with that classic Martini livery there. Certainly isn't a whale tail, but he'll have a heck of a tale to tell after this one, even if he doesn't win.
Yeah, he will indeed. And Joe, just keeping an eye on drivers who are inching closer and closer to those off-track incidents. Now, I can just tell when they've been off-track. This doesn't account for any car damage that's come in. Travis Brown right now, or excuse me, Jerry Freckleton currently sitting on 13 off-tracks. BJ Fulton sitting at 10. So those drivers have got to be a little bit careful when it comes to driving around in track limits.
Yeah, that's a good point. If we see Freckleton get into a battle at the end of the race, one contact will give him a black flag. So he is dangerously close, unfortunately. And Johnson, last time, 39.2. He's continuing to pick up the pace. I think he kind of realized he's got to hustle here at the end. Sipek, 39.2. He matched him.
Yeah, matched him down to the thousandths of a second. So good response there from Michael W. Johnson. We should have probably 3 or 4 laps to go at the line. So that 13's just got to hold off for a little bit longer.
With all his time racing around the globe, wonder how much experience he's got here. He did say that he had a number of tricks that he knew around this track. Maybe that'll come in handy if he has to play defense. And the Porsche driver, the IMSA driver, holds about 1.6 seconds over Matthew in the number 11 as it stands. Going to be crossing the line with just about over 5 minutes to go. So 4 laps left, I think.
That should be about right, but don't count on me to do math, Joe. There's a reason I have a fine arts degree.
Out into the front stretch once again. Let's see what this lap looks like for him. Crosses the line. Johnson a 39.2. Sipek a 39.2. Once again, he has picked it up and he is matching the pace, and there is a bobble coming from the 11. This actually could hurt him more than just in pace, because Fulton might start to attack as he goes around the outside into the parabolic entry wheel to wheel. It does compromise the pair of them, and they've already lost a couple tenths.
All right, that is going to be music to the ears of Michael W. Johnson, but here comes BJ Fulton. He's going to poke his nose to what will be the outside of the Spitzkara as they work their way through the Parabolica. It's side by side.
Who's better on the brakes as they get on the binders down into the Spitzkara around the outside? Fulton wants to try and get the better exit, but he gets forced off into the paved runoff. That's not going to do the job. Sipek retains second.
It is indeed, but I don't think BJ Fulton's done with this attack yet. He's going to poke his nose down to the inside of Mercedes, but Sipek wise to see it coming. He loses it, and it's contact between the two.
tries to come back, has to wait as Abrams and Lotfula also come through. Well, now Fulton's a full 4 seconds behind, and poor Matthew in the 11 is 10 seconds back in 6th place outside of the top 5. Matt Hollander is the one who peeks into there. A great run for him today, going up from 12th, as he has certainly made up for what was a lackluster qualifying.
Yeah, indeed, he has really bringing that car up and along, up 7 positions, as you said. A good run, and it's not done yet. He may have a little bit to say about Jacob Abrams if Abrams makes a bobble here in the closing stages of the race.
No doubt about that. How much damage is on Fulton, too? Wonder if he's got to play rear guard from here on out, because Corey Lotfula is behind him. There is our leader, Michael Johnson. It's now up to 4.2 seconds. There is Fulton. The nose looks okay to me, actually.
I think he's relatively okay. That wasn't a super high speed impact, kind of like that incident that we saw going down into the Sachs curve with Abrams and Lotfula. It just don't think that they were carrying enough speed to really damage the carbon fiber.
So let's see. It was a fair move, and it put him off his line. He just couldn't hold on, and unfortunately that pendulum effect of the Porsche bit him hard, and he had to wait patiently before he could run away.
Does indeed. So Sipik here now just trying to pick back up the pieces as we watch who is now 2nd place, BJ Fulton, working his way around. He's got a 4-second gap to Michael W. Johnson.
It looks like Lotfula is not quite able to hold on here. He's starting to lose bit by bit. Had a black flag for the 277. And that's BJ Fulton, actually. BJ having to serve this one, and Lotfula has it by default. Unbelievable stuff. BJ Fulton in to serve his penalty. Lotfula promoted up. The gap increases once again, but it is 2 laps to go still for Michael Johnson. It's not over.
No, it is not. He's got to keep it clean for 2 more laps here at this point, and that is going to be a challenge here because this track will be willing to catch you out when you are not expecting it.
We predicted early in the show that the penalties for off tracks could be an issue out there, and it cost someone a 2nd place in the end. Here is Johnson. Should be coming back around for the white flag here as he hits the far end of the circuit around the Spitzker. A minute left to go, 5 seconds behind him. And we got to remember, he's been in this position before. We think back to Mosport last season, where he had the win on his hands. I think it was 2 laps to go, and the car went around on him coming through Moss Corner. He's got to hold on to it. He's got to keep those nerves down.
Exactly, and that can be one of the hardest things in the world to do, Joe, especially when you're out like this, leading in a race unto yourself, just trying to keep your nerves down because you've got nothing to focus on but the fact of that checkered flag coming up for you. So Michael W. Johnson coming here out of the Sachs curve. 1 more lap to go.
We've been mentioning it sort of briefly earlier, but would be his first win in the virtual series here in the Porsche Owners Club for Michael Johnson. As storied as a career as he's had as a real-life racer, the POC has not smiled upon him very well. At least not the racing gods amongst it. The other members certainly love working with him. He's been a coach for many of them, both in the real world and here in the sim. He's on the final lap with the white flag now. But here on home soil, this will be a storybook win if he just can make half a lap, as we got a car spun off. That was Adam Fulton. It's another thing he doesn't want to see happen, is a lapped car affected for the 2nd time this race.
Yeah, indeed, we saw that happen earlier with your 2 leaders of Brown and Layton. You don't want to see that here. It looks like it's relatively smooth sailing. He's just got Jeffrey Shulam about 7 seconds up the road from him here.
Got to wonder if he's actually gotten to drive at the Porsche Experience Center in the middle of this track that iRacing just added on. If he's had a chance to go try it here in the sim, I don't think he cares right now. All he cares about is just these couple more corners into the stadium section. The German fans virtually cheering as well. He goes by the stopped Adam Fulton to his outside there. Michael Johnson may not be an actual German, but I'm sure he's an adopted son here today for our fans in the stands. The 13 comes around the final corner, finally gets his first win here in the Porsche Owners Club Series.
Michael W. Johnson putting on a clinic here of how to stay cool under pressure. Behind him, Corey Lotvilla and Jacob Abrams, who had to fight their way up through the field. Take out your final podium positions. A big love tap there from the other drivers. I think they're just as excited as Michael is.
Gonna be a popular win. Oh, and a spin. That was a battle for position. Rondeau as well. How did he get over there? He's on the drag strip in no man's land. Now he's going to be able to get it going back on track, losing many, many spots. Travis Brown, by the way, wound up 8th in the end. And where did Leighton finish? He was 17th. He's still finishing.
Still waiting for a lot of drivers to come across. A lot of black flags here that got picked up on this final lap. So definitely a little bit of an interesting situation to see what will happen.
I suspect a lot of those are after they finish. The drivers actually can still rack up incident points until the final driver crosses the line, which is going to be Jeffrey Shulam in 19th. I have a feeling that the stewards are just going to brush away those black flags and consider them a non-issue. But we've got a break here as more drivers celebrate and have fun post-race. We're going to come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews, so stick around.
iRacing is a sim racing game that combines a true-to-life racing experience with an online community of virtual racers from all around the globe. iRacing offers a multitude of officially licensed cars and tracks, laser scanned with millimeter accuracy. Their car models and mechanical systems are based on real-world physics, engineered in cooperation with manufacturers and race teams. Their skill license system ranges from rookie to pro, ensuring members are always pitted against those with similar skill sets. Members are able to sign up for a weekly race series, compete in time trials, host a private race with friends, and participate in racing leagues created and run by the community. With over 170,000 members, iRacing works in partnership with renowned motorsports organizations like NASCAR to deliver virtual races based on the real-life NASCAR Cup Series, as well as many other series on the NASCAR ladder. iRacing also features team racing, providing a variety of options for members to create and manage their own teams. Race with friends or real-world teammates in full-length endurance events like the 24 Hours of Daytona, Spa 24, or the Bathurst 12-Hour. Additional partners include IMSA, World of Outlaws, Supercars, and IndyCar, allowing members to race in their very own Indianapolis 500, Bathurst 1000, Chili Bowl, and many more iconic events. This is iRacing, delivering the most authentic racing experience short of getting into a real race car. Sign up today at iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Hockenheim. We just saw round 2 of the 2022 season for the Porsche Owners Club Series. And after many times of trying, Michael Johnson takes the win. A little bit of luck helped him up there, but you also have to give credit for the performance he put on as he took multiple spots at the start and then held off faster rivals who tried to chase him down at the end. Corey Lotvilla was second, up from 7th, and Jacob Abrams from 3rd to 3rd of all things. Matt Hollander, again, got to give a round of applause to this guy. The 69 took hit from 12th to 4th today. BJ Fulton wound up 5th as Andrew Beckner was P6. Then you've got AJ Lettieri in P7 with Travis Brown going from the front row to only being able to get 8th. Again, kind of an innocent victim, unfortunately, with lap traffic hitting him and taking he and Tom out. Jerry Freckleton was 9th from 21st. Great job. And Jad Duncan finished 10th.
Coming home in 11th, it was Michael Ost, followed by, it was John Momeyer, followed by Michael Bolton, with Doug Boccignoni in 13th and Sam Mayorga in 14th. Tom Layton, who led early on, came home in 15th, followed by Michael Ost, with Mark Rondeau and Doug Nguyen in 18th. Jeffrey Shulam was 19th, and Matthew Sipik finished one lap down.
From there, it was Aaron Edwards 21st and Adam Fulton 22nd. DNFs for Giorgio Adams and Michael Roban, with Del Toro and Cooner DNSs today. But Michael Johnson joins us now after his maiden victory here in the POC. And Michael, of all the places for it to happen, I got to think this one has got to feel special.
Yeah, it's quite special. I used to teach at this track back when I lived in Germany. I raced on the old version where we didn't have the rundown to the Spitzkau, where we kept going straight where turn 2 is now. And then I've done this version, and this was an incredibly special place to do this. I feel really bad for Tom and Travis. That just, I had nothing for them, and it was a real bummer that they ended up getting taken out like that. But I'll take the win, regardless of how it came. It's not quite as sweet, but winning at home. I mean, being German, winning at home, that means a lot. Yeah.
I am certain, and I can't imagine the emotions that were in the car. But let's go back to the start of the race. You don't sell yourself short, because even though you got handed that lead about halfway through, you went from 5th to 3rd before you even hit the first corner. How'd you time that one?
I think I was the only person not sleeping from the second row back. It seemed like everybody was just sitting there. We came around Zutkurve, and Tom took off. And then Travis took off, and then I took off. And then I guess it was Matthew and Jacob and I think BJ were all sitting there. And I'm like, hi, guys. And I knew from practice we were just close enough that if I could just pull it out a little bit, I felt pretty solid that I could keep ahead of them. And then I think something happened to Jacob, and then Matt and BJ got into some squabbles, trying to decide who was gonna try to lead the way to catch me while I was, or to take P3 at the time, I guess. And then something happened to them later on. I didn't see it because I was too focused forward and just trying to not curse myself.
It's understandable. Well, let's look forward then. Does this break the duck and mean that the floodgates are open? Or do you feel like you're still going to have to fight hard with the talent you're seeing out of Tom and Travis?
The talent goes much deeper than Tom and Travis. They are amazingly good. The talent runs much, much deeper. So I would be wrong to limit that to just those two. If our practices and our practice races are any indication, I'm gonna have to work my tail off for the rest of the season to see this top spot of the podium again, any spot on the podium, to be honest, again this season. Because seriously, while those two are amazingly good, nobody else in this field is a slouch. I have gone door to door, mirror to mirror, nose to tail with everyone in the field today, and even some who didn't show up today. So yeah, I would not sell anyone short. I got to work my butt off to make my way up here again.
That's understandable. But this time, finally, with a victory, is there anybody you want to thank?
Oh, of course, the sponsors, Truffle Shuffle, Fix Vodka, Sugar Studios LA, Freedom Supercars, T-Mobile for Business, the Porsche Owners Club for inviting me back this year. Obviously, Porsche Owners Club is a great group. The racing here is fantastic. I'm not kidding when I say that. I mean, I race in IMSA, I race in World Challenge, I race everywhere, all sorts of things. It's as good here as it is in those series. So huge thanks to those guys for letting me come along. And of course, the brilliant broadcast team that puts this all on the air for us. Gotta love you guys too.
Well, thank you very much. That was Michael Johnson, your winner here today. And behind him, it was Corey Lotvilla, who definitely was fighting for many of the podium positions, and DJ has caught up with him.
I have indeed, Corey. It looked like you were just kind of involved in every single scrap that there was out on track. Talk me through that.
Oh, man, yeah. Well, with that and getting the position I got, I had a really lucky race. I was able to get through most of it, and I only had 10 incident points, so no black flags.
There you go. How much was that playing on your mind? We saw a lot of drivers getting those black flags. Were you really, really conscious of it?
Oh, man, yeah. Some guys only had one more to use, and I was just trying as hard as I can. No, don't go over the curving. Sometimes it would happen, and you just kind of had to deal with it.
Well, I mean, you dealt with it and came home with the podium, so that's got to feel pretty good. Next time out, we move over to another Formula One track in the form of Silverstone. How do you think that's going to go?
I love Silverstone, so hopefully I can come with the right setup this time. And I just ended up losing the tires and really had nothing for Jacob, but luckily he ended up being 2 seconds back from me. But yeah, I'm super excited for the next track. Hopefully we do good.
Well, I know I'm looking forward to seeing you guys there. Anybody you want to thank for the run today?
Yeah, I want to thank Schmidt Racing. Dave out there, he's always got my back as always. Family and friends, and you guys for putting on, and the POC always having a good time. Thanks.
Well, thank you, my friend. That was Corey Lotvilla, your second place finisher out here today. And now, Joe, I believe you've caught up with Jacob Abrams.
Indeed, and what a roller coaster ride it was for Jacob Abrams today, managing to wind up third. Jacob, what are your feelings after having to both avoid incidents in front of you and fight hard just to get to spray the champagne?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, I knew this one was going to be a game of survival more than anything, so my strategy was just keep it on the track, stay out of trouble, and just make it to the end of the race, and I think that worked okay.
It did indeed. So we asked Michael about the start where he managed to get by both you and Matthew. So what happened from your perspective? Were you just caught napping or...
No, so I mean, Tom Layton, who had pole, jumped the start, and he went before the green, and most people just reacted to that, and I waited for the green to come on before I was going, just to try and avoid any post-race penalties. And I figured out whatever, I'll get swallowed up 7th, 8th, doesn't matter. I'll just take it easy and let the race come to me and watch other people make mistakes, and I'll make those spots back up. So it wasn't really that big a deal, but probably could have been more aggressive.
Yeah, I guess it all worked out in the end. Next time out, we're heading off to Silverstone, another track with a lot of paved runoff. You looking at all the black flags that got handed out today and thinking, that might be a real trouble I got to focus on next time out as well.
Yeah, that's always a tough track. Because there's a lot of areas you can gain a little bit of time by running into that paved runoff and, making moves around some questionable corners there. It's pretty easy to get a 17x penalty, stop and go penalty for that kind of stuff there. So gotta keep it on the track for sure.
Well, best of luck to you when you do that. Before you go from here in Germany, though, anybody you want to thank?
I just want to thank POC for putting this all on, and you guys for hosting the broadcast. Thanks, guys.
That was Jacob Abrams, third place finisher here today. And we are going to close things up with a few thank yous to our sponsors, of course, starting off with Porsche. There is no substitute. Find out more at Porsche.com. and Sunset Mortgage. Don't put your money in the bank, be the bank. Check them out today at sunsetcash.net. As well as Octavio Tequila. Celebrate now. For a great tasting tequila, go to octaviotequila.com and purchase today. And finally, Century Financial Consultants, making the rest of your life the best of your life. You can check out their website at centuryretire.com. Thanks to the companies that provide the software and hardware for our broadcast listed here. An additional thanks to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. Check out our Bandcamp for more great work. Thanks to the team today, DJ, Zach, and Dougie. You can find more info about GSRC at globalsimracingchannel.com or through our social media. And check out our merchandise store as gsrc.storeenvy.com. We keep a link in the description below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel while you're checking that out so you don't miss a moment, because as we said, next time it'll be at Silverstone 2 weeks from now, Monday, January 31st at 11 p.m. Eastern. We have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out. Mark them down on your calendar. But until next time, race clean, race hard. We'll see you on the track.